Now we put it back together. That's the easy part. One thing that we would like to do is to do a burnout on the skin.
Hi, I'm Lars Antonsen, and I'm with the manufacturing department, and I also work extensively in composites. And today we're doing a burnout test from a core sample to determine what the fiber orientation is, what the layup schedule is, and we've also weighed it so we can weigh it after we've done the burnout to determine what our fiber to resin ratio is, or resin to fiber ratio. So we have a small kiln, and we've put our part in there and heated it up to 1500 degrees. That's enough to burn off all the resin and leave just the fiberglass. Okay, we've completed our burnout. Resin has completely burned out of this, and we can see that the fiberglass is all that's left. So now I can weigh this and compare that to the weight of the material when I started with the resin in it and figure out what my fiber to resin ratio is. But I also can see what the orientation and what type of fabric has been used in this, what the layup schedule has been, what the architecture of it has been, and so it tells me a tremendous amount.
And now, after it has been fired to 1200 degrees and all the resin has been burned out, what we need to do is to separate it and determine what the layup schedule is. Okay, so what we need to do is to take it out, and it's very fragile. And as you can see, we didn't burn all the gel coat off the back side. That might be to our advantage because it actually is helping to hold it together, this slug. So we had a piece of mat up against the gel coat, which is very typical and the way it should be done. Mat is what makes things stick. In the mold, the gel coat went down first. After the gel coat had set up, the layer of mat went in. After I removed the mat, our next layer is a piece of cloth, maybe 6 ounce. Probably all went in at the same time because mat is very hard to work the bubbles out. And so if you put a piece of cloth over the top of it, now you can use a squeegee. And after the cloth, a lightweight mat went down. And here we come to the meat and potatoes. And I'm going to scrape it back because it almost looks like unidirectional. It does look like a stitch right there. So best guess, unidirectional. And I would almost think the way this boat was built / engineered, the uni went up and down the rudder for the strength. And that's about all it was. With there's after the unidirectional, another layer of mat was put on there. And we got to remember that mat is what makes things stick. Okay, so what was the next layer? That was the foam, the coring inside. So we had mat sticking to the gel coat. We had structural material, mat with a cloth, then the structural, then another piece of mat because it needed to stick to the foam coring. And that's it.
So we'll make sure we put back the same or more?
No, the boat has operated quite well with this layup. And so I see no reason to put more on it. All it is a skin protecting the shape that the foam made. The shape of the rudder gives it strength. The rudder post, the stainless steel pipe, gives it strength. All this is a skin to protect the coring.
All right, just like that. We got the burn test done, and so wanted to follow up with what we found out. So sure, great having Mike and Lars, in this composite program to help us out so we can put this rudder back together. So in conclusion, it's pretty easy. We had the gel coat, we had some chop strand mat, that's the glue, had some lightweight 6 ounce or so cloth, had more mat in there. Then we got into the real meat here, which is what Mike was calling that unidirectional, which is all going one direction and stitched together And Lars says, you know, that's more than likely because they were infusing these parts, and that allows the resin to get through there. So we're stay tuned for the next part. We're going to get this this thing glued back together. We'll get the experts back on deck, and before you know it, we'll get it reinstalled. Thanks for watching.